There is a guy who parks his 2011 Honda Civic in the same lot every single morning. The paint is faded, there's a small dent on the rear bumper, and his coworkers assume he's struggling. They think he's one car repair away from financial ruin. What they don't know is that he has $4.2 million in index funds. His house is paid off, his kids' college is funded. He could retire tomorrow, but he chooses the Civic on purpose. Most of us are living in a giant, expensive theater. We spend our lives performing wealth for an audience of people we don't even like. We lease the German sedan, we wear the logo-heavy belt, and we finance a lifestyle that signals I've made it. But according to decades of research from the Millionaire next door, the people who actually are wealthy don't look like the people you see on Instagram. In fact, the median price millionaires pay for their cars is just $31,367. An Experian automotive study found that 61% of people earning over $250,000 drive Toyotas, Hondas, or Fords. Meanwhile, 8% of people earning under $100,000 own luxury vehicles. They're spending $60,000 on cars while making $50,000 a year. One group looks wealthy, the other group actually is wealthy, and these are rarely the same people. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a fundamental difference in how people view money. One group views it as a tool for display, the other views it as a tool for freedom. Thomas Stanley and William Danko spent decades studying millionaires across America, and their findings shattered every assumption. 80% of millionaires are first-generation affluent. They didn't inherit their money, they built it themselves. Half of them have lived in the same house for more than 20 years. They're more likely to drive a Ford than a Bentley. They are disproportionately clustered in middle-class and blue-collar neighborhoods, not affluent communities. The researchers expected the opposite. They expected to find the wealthy in gated communities with high walls and luxury cars. Instead, they found them in ordinary houses, wearing ordinary clothes, and living lives that were completely invisible to the status-seeking public. This video isn't about being cheap. It's about a psychological edge that most people never figure out. Looking poor might be the most important financial strategy you ever adopt. If you keep playing the visibility game, you aren't just losing money, you're losing your freedom, your security, and your privacy. Today, I'm going to show you why stealth wealth is the ultimate power move and how looking ordinary can actually make you extraordinary. If you don't understand the power of looking poor, you will spend your entire life working to maintain an illusion while someone else owns your future. We are going to dive into the data, the psychology, and the brutal math of status signaling. We will explore why looking rich is a trap that keeps you poor, and how looking poor is the ultimate protection for becoming truly wealthy. By the end of this video, you will never look at a luxury car or a designer logo the same way again. You will understand that the most powerful position in the world is being the person with the most money and the least visibility. We have been programmed to believe that rich people look rich. Television, social media, and advertising have sold us a narrative. If you don't show it, you don't have it. This programming starts early. We see the glamorous lifestyles of the rich and famous, and we equate success with consumption. But let's look at the math. Sociologist Thorstein Veblen introduced the concept of conspicuous consumption over a century ago. He observed that people don't buy products for utility, they buy them for the narrative. A $50,000 watch tells time exactly as well as a $50 Casio. The extra $49,950 buys something else entirely, the ability to signal status. Research shows that people who view money as a symbol of power and success report lower levels of financial satisfaction. They buy expensive things to impress others, often without monitoring their overall spending. The irony is brutal. The pursuit of appearing wealthy creates the very conditions that prevent actual wealth. Every leased BMW represents a monthly payment that could have gone into an investment account. Every designer handbag represents shares of index funds that weren't purchased. Every status symbol has an opportunity cost measured in decades of compound growth. Consider this. Every dollar spent on appearance is a dollar that can't compound over 30 years. Actual wealth builders understand this math instinctively. They know that a $50,000 car today is actually a $300,000 loss in their future retirement account. They're not playing a visibility game, they're playing a compounding game. They understand that wealth is what you don't see. It's the investments you didn't sell, the cars you didn't buy, and the status you didn't feel the need to signal. The people who appear wealthy are often just high-income spenders. They have a high cash flow, but their net worth is fragile. They're playing a visibility game where the goal is to show everyone they've made it. But actual wealth builders play a different game entirely. They understand that every dollar spent on appearance is a dollar that can't work for them. They've done the math, and they know that looking wealthy isn't worth the cost of actually being wealthy. When you flex, you aren't just signaling to your friends, you're signaling to everyone, including those who want a piece of what you have. This is what I call the visibility tax. First, there's the predator tax. According to Javelin Research, cybercriminals stole the identities of 6.4% of the general public, but that number jumped to 8.1% for high net worth individuals. A joint study by Explaine and the Department of Justice found that affluent Americans are 43% more likely to experience identity theft. The more visibly wealthy you are, the larger the target on your back. Cybercriminals use whaling attacks, meticulously crafted scams targeting people who look like they have deep pockets. They assemble profiles from your social media, your car, and your neighborhood to target you with surgical precision.
Then there's the negotiation tax. Imagine you're hiring a contractor to fix your roof. If you pull up in a Mercedes wearing a Rolex, do you think you're getting the standard rate? Absolutely not. Service providers, salespeople, and contractors all calibrate their prices based on your perceived ability to pay. Looking wealthy invites premium pricing. Looking ordinary receives the standard rate. Over a lifetime, this differential adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Warren Buffett once noted that he never worried about being overcharged because nobody knew he was wealthy. His modest appearance gave him negotiating leverage that flashy consumption would have eliminated. The person who looks wealthy pays a wealth tax on everything they buy. They are constantly being upsold and premium charged because they've advertised their capacity to pay. And let's not forget the legal tax. If you're involved in a minor car accident, the other party's reaction changes the moment they see you're driving a $100,000 car. Suddenly, their neck hurts a lot more. Suddenly, they're looking for a settlement. Visible wealth is an invitation for litigation. Looking poor is a form of legal armor. The moment visible wealth enters a professional relationship, the dynamics shift, and usually not in your favor. If your boss thinks you're set, they'll question your hunger. They'll wonder why you're still working if you've already made it. They might pass you over for a promotion or a bonus because you don't really need the money. If your colleagues perceive you as wealthy, they'll resent your success and expect you to pick up the tab at every lunch. Clients who perceive you as modest don't resent your fees, but the moment they see you in a $100,000 car, they start wondering if they're paying you too much. But the person who looks middle class while being quietly wealthy avoids this entirely. They maintain the appearance of needing the job while having the absolute security of not needing it. This is an extraordinarily powerful position. They can take risks that desperate employees cannot take. They can speak truth to power because they aren't afraid of being fired. They can negotiate from a position of strength while appearing to negotiate from a position of need. Socially, it's even more profound. Research indicates that high net worth individuals frequently report a trust paradox. Relationships become harder to evaluate. They can never be certain whether someone likes them or their money. The person who looks ordinary avoids this filter. Their friendships are based on who they are, not what they have. They maintain access to a wider range of social connections because nobody treats them differently based on perceived wealth. They aren't trapped in the echo chambers of class that visible wealth creates. Status is relational. It only exists relative to others. In high inequality environments, status signaling becomes more aggressive. The distance between tiers widens and comparison intensifies. Over time, this produces echo chambers where you only interact with people in your same financial bracket. The person driving the old Honda maintains access to the whole world. Family relationships are often the first casualty of visible wealth. Research from the Millionaire Next Door found a negative correlation between receiving funds and accumulating wealth among children of affluent parents. When parents look wealthy, children grow up expecting an inheritance rather than building their own foundation. They develop negative consumption habits, perceiving themselves as more productive than they actually are because they've always had a safety net. Giving money to adult children sends a subliminal message, "I don't think you can make it on your own." The children fail to distinguish between wealth they generated and wealth received as gifts. Parents who look middle class while being quietly wealthy can provide support strategically rather than under social pressure. Their children develop self-reliance because they don't know there's a safety net. Family relationships remain uncomplicated by visible financial inequality. You don't have cousins coming out of the woodwork asking for loans that are actually gifts. You can help people because you want to, not because you're expected to. You can provide for your children's education and their future without destroying their ambition. The quietly wealthy parent understands that the best gift they can give their children is the habits that built the wealth, not just the wealth itself. The authors of The Millionaire Next Door created a framework that separates wealth builders from wealth destroyers. PAWs, prodigious accumulators of wealth. These are the people who build wealth quietly. They save more than they spend, they invest for the long term, and they don't care about status symbols.
UAWs, under accumulators of wealth. These are the people who spend their income to maintain a lifestyle. They're often highly educated professionals in demanding careers who understand compound interest intellectually but don't practice it behaviorally. The category has nothing to do with your income and everything to do with your behavior. A $50,000 a year janitor can be more of a PAW than a $700,000 a year doctor. Here's the Millionaire Formula to check your status. Multiply your age by your pre-tax annual household income, then divide by 10. If you're 40 years old and earning $150,000, you should have approximately $600,000 in net worth. If you're significantly below this threshold, you are an underaccumulator. You might live in luxury, style, and comfort, but you are financially fragile. You're making million-dollar choices that, if avoided, would have made you a millionaire by now. Take the cigarette example from the original research. One couple smoked 3 packs a day for 46 years. The cost of those cigarettes exceeded the value of their home. Had they invested that money instead, their portfolio would have exceeded $2 million. Status purchases work the same way. The difference between an $80,000 car and a $30,000 car invested over 25 years at 7% annual returns becomes roughly $270,000. That is the real price of looking wealthy. The world is finally waking up. We're seeing a shift toward quiet luxury or stealth wealth. According to Bain & Company's 2024 luxury report, affluent consumers are increasingly prioritizing longevity and craftsmanship over logos and labels. This isn't just a fashion trend, it's a recognition that visible wealth has costs that invisible wealth avoids. After the TV show Succession ended, searches for unbranded, high-quality clothing spiked. The appeal wasn't flashy logos, it was the opposite. It was wealth that only those who truly understand it can recognize. Stealth wealth has become a form of modern social currency. This shift reflects a deeper psychological truth: hedonic adaptation. Research shows that increases in wealth create temporary spikes in happiness, but we quickly return to our baseline. The BMW provides a thrill for a few weeks, then it just becomes your car. The watch impresses for a few months, then it becomes invisible to you. Each visible purchase delivers diminishing emotional returns while permanently reducing financial capital. Invisible wealth works differently. The growing net worth provides a constant background sense of security that doesn't adapt away. You know your future is protected. This security influences everything. Your decisions become less fear-driven, your relationships become less transaction-focused, and your sleep becomes less interrupted by financial anxiety. The visible wealthy person experiences constant pressure to maintain their display. Every year requires new purchases to signal that they're still successful. The treadmill never stops. The invisible wealthy person experiences no such pressure. They've opted out of the display game entirely. Let's look at the final scoreboard. Imagine two people earning $200,000 a year. Person A saves 25% of their income, $50,000 per year, and lives in a modest house, driving a used Honda. They look middle class. Person B saves 5% of their income, $10,000 per year, and spends the rest on a luxury lease, a big mortgage, and designer clothes. They look wealthy. After 25 years, assuming 7% annual returns, Person A has approximately $3.4 million. They are truly wealthy. They have options, security, and freedom. Person B has approximately $680,000. They are financially fragile. They have a closet full of old luxury goods and memories of expensive dinners, but they are stuck on the treadmill. Person A looks poor but is powerful. Person B looks rich but is a prisoner to their own display. Person A can retire today and never worry again. Person B is one bad quarter away from losing everything. The visible spender has memories of nice things. The invisible wealth builder has the power to do whatever they want. Both made choices. Only one made choices that compound. The millionaire who looks like a millionaire is often just a high-income spender. The millionaire who looks like you is the one who is actually winning. The most impressive thing you can own isn't a car, a watch, or a house in a gated community. It's your own life. It's the ability to wake up and do exactly what you want with your time. Stop flexing. Start owning. The next time you're tempted to buy something to signal your success, remember the guy in the 2011 Honda Civic. He isn't struggling. He's winning a game that most people don't even know they're playing. He understands that looking poor is the ultimate protection for being rich. Your homework is simple. Audit your visibility tax. Where are you spending money just to be seen? Cut it, invest it, and start building the kind of wealth that doesn't need a logo to be real. Reject the cultural programming that equates spending with success. Build your empire in silence and let your freedom be the only signal you need. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're secure. It's the ability to be generous without being exploited. It's the power of being invisible in a world that is obsessed with being seen. Thanks for watching. If this video changed the way you look at your bank account, hit the subscribe button. Join the community of people who are choosing freedom over status. I'll see you in the next one.